Hello beautiful makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've filmed because it's been so hot in the UK, and finally we have rain today and it's cooled off a little bit, so I'm diving into an amazing parcel that arrived to me today, and it is from NOMAD Cosmetics. NOMAD are one of my favourite indie brands. They are based in the US and they base all of their palettes on destinations, and wherever that destination is they give a percentage of their profits to a charity there. So we're going to dive into the newest palette, which is Ghost Town USA. This is the outer packaging for the palette, and the artwork and the theming as usual is on point, and on the back you do have the shades that are included inside, and this is the front of the palette. Like, I love that it does this. It is super cool. Nomad's packaging is one of my favourites. It does have a big mirror and 18 shades. We do have rows of shimmers and rows of mattes, but let's dive into the close-ups and the swatches. Ghost Town USA Intense Eyeshadow Palette. The destination: in a barren terrain down dusty gravel roads rest deteriorating mining towns of America's Wild West. Once bustling settlements full of strike-it-rich fever, they are now in arrested decay 100 years after fortunes and residents vanished. From Calicut to Garnet, these ghost towns are full of unexpected sounds, unexplained sightings and unimaginable tales that suggest perhaps they aren't as abandoned as they seem. The colour story: grit and gold, cool tone mattes in browns, greens and blues paired with shimmery metals of copper, gold and silver. 9 cool as sterling mattes and 9 glitzy as gold shimmers inspired by the haunted ghost towns of the Wild West. So the cause this time for this palette, where some of the profits are going to, it says, is the birds of prey at the Peregrine Fund that protects the habitats of raptors like the condors, vultures, eagles and hawks of America's Wild West. Now, if you were one of the first people to buy this palette at launch, I can't remember the exact number, you would get this little postcard with the pan for gold on the front. They do usually include a postcard with their palettes, especially for the first however many people that buy, so I think that is a lovely touch that Nomad generally tend to do. So I'm excited about this palette. It's very cool toned. Let's discuss the colour story before we jump into a few looks. Now, this does retail for $49 and you are getting some delicious shades. Now, I do know that this shimmer formula is different to the previous shimmer formulas that Nomad has used, so I'm excited to see that little change. Their mattes, the matte quality of Nomad is one of my favourite matte formulas to work with. Just full stop. I think they are amazing, so I'm excited about this. We do have some deeper matte shades, mid-tones, and then leaning on the lighter side here as well. Like I say, all very cool tone based, and we have some gorgeous looking, like, they look glitzy in the pan. Shimmers, I think, are some duochromes. I'm not sure if they're duochromes or not, but they look extremely intense just looking at them in the pan, and all of the little indentations that you will have seen on the close-ups. Lovely touch. I like the layout of this palette a lot, the way that it is shimmers and mattes in the different columns. I think that's really pleasing to the eye, and if you love a cool tone palette, you may be drooling over this right now. But enough waffling on, let's get this on my eyeballs. As usual, if you are interested in anything else that I'm wearing in this video, it should be linked in the description box down below, and some of those links are affiliate links, so if you shop through those, I may earn a small commission, so thank you so much for supporting my channel if you do use them. I don't often gravitate towards cool tone looks, I'm going to be honest, but I'm entering my sort of neutral era. I know. I'm normally a Technicolor lover, but actually I've been appreciating different browns. I think on the whole I prefer warm tone browns, but I'm excited to play around this palette. It excites me, the colour story. There's just something about it that just scratches an itch I didn't know I had. As soon as I saw the full reveal, I was just like, wow, that probably wouldn't have interested me a year or two ago. But today, I'm extremely excited. So I think what we're going to do for the first look, I think I want to use this blue row here. I think that's what we're going to do. And I'm toying with the idea of using this purple that didn't actually look purple when I was showing you. It kind of looks more like a browny bronze, so that definitely looks like a duochrome. It's called Ghost Train, so I'm thinking of using this shimmer and the blues. I'm not going to start out with my deeper shade this time. I'm going to start out with Calamity Jane, which is sort of the more mid-tone blue, which is this one here. And I'm just going to start to pack that on the outer corner and maybe the inner corner as well. Maybe we should go for more of a halo eye look today. There is a little bit of kickback in the pan, but I don't mind that. And currently as I'm filming this part, I haven't swatched the palette, but I'm really excited to swatch this new shimmer formula and to see how it applies on the eye, to be honest. That is super delicious and pigmented and deep. Just tuck it in there just near the inner corner as well. I don't often do a lot of halo eyes. I actually find them more difficult than a cut crease. I'm going to go out here at a slight angle just so it kind of elongates the eye and pulls it out a little bit rather than keeping it straight down. I kind of like the fact that I can take it off to an angle with these halo eyes just a little bit. That is such a moody deep blue and I'm living for it. I am so ready for all the Halloween launches. It's my favourite time of year for eyeshadow because they generally include all the shades that I absolutely love and there's a lot of depth and grunginess. Considering as well, this is not the deepest shade. I didn't start out with the deepest blue. I was planning to just deepen up with it. This is pretty deep. I am just going to take a clean brush and just wiggle on the edges of the shadow I've already placed down before I go in with another shade to blend it out, just to help with that blending process a little bit. But that tone, man, like, this is why I love NOMAD mattes. I like intense pigment. I have just added that shade underneath my eye as well. I don't like to leave a gap below on my halo eyes, so I filled that in, and still this is just all one shade. I'm just working on a little bit of blending out first. Then we're going to go in with, what's it called? Skinner's Saloon, which is the lightest of the blues that's kind of grey toned, which I'm not mad about. So just lightly going in with Skinner's Saloon on the very edges of basically everywhere I've already popped the other shade. And a blue-grey isn't going to blend out into my skin tone perfectly, but that's okay. I don't have a blue undertone, so I'm not expecting it to. I just want to get it looking, you know, so it's kind of blended, it kind of makes sense, and I'm keeping all of this part in the middle free from matte shadow. And I will come back and work on that blend a little bit more, but first I want to deepen up with Dead Man's Hand, which is this one here. Dead Man's Hand. So just on the very outer edge and just on the extreme inner corner, I just want to deepen up. Oh yeah, I did wonder how much more it was going to be deepened up with the shade, but it definitely is deepening it. I can't talk. Deepening it up beautifully. The shades have built on top of each other really, really nicely. I'm not having any issues with the pigment. And it's more or less the same matte formula that I know and love from NOMAD, so I'm really pleased about that. This is looking very dramatic and intense, and I am not mad about it. I've been waiting and waiting for summer to go so that I can get back into these intense looks. But to be quite honest, I'd probably still wear this in the middle of summer. Okay, I think it's time to play with the delicious looking shimmers now. Like, there are so many shimmers in this palette that will go with this look. To be honest, I think I would probably use any of them apart from the browns. The green would look extremely striking. I was thinking of the purple though. Okay, I am destroying the pan because I went in quite hard with my referral brush, so just be aware if you don't want to destroy your pan, just be a little bit more gentle. That has definitely picked up well though. Let's give it a spritz. Just using some random setting spray, and I just want to pop that down the centre. Oh, it applies even better with the finger. It's a lot more intense. I'm just going to dab some of the blue mattes on the edge of where I've placed that gorgeous purple shimmer. It is so wet looking and shiny and metallic. It's beautiful. I'm indecisive today. I'm going to go in with Quicksilver, I think, for the inner corner. I don't always do an inner corner highlight when it comes to looks like this, but I just want to use Quicksilver because it looks beautiful. And I didn't learn from destroying the last pan, and I've gone in quite hard. Kerry, take your own advice. Now, I don't necessarily need this to be super bright. I just wanted to add another element to this. I really love how deep and grungy and delicious these tones are. Let me jump off, finish the look, come back and see what we think. So guys, finished look number 1 and I love it. I did add a little half lash. I'm not going to link the brand down below because I don't support them anymore unfortunately, but I'm just going to use up the lashes that I have, and I do love a half lash, so I did add that just to the edges. Now, ooh, did I put the mascara away? The mascara I added to my lower lashes is the L'Oreal Paris Mega Volume Miss Baby Roll. I think I originally got this on Amazon quite a while ago. It doesn't come out that often, but I will try and link it down below if I can still find it, just to add that little pop of extra sort of blue in there. And in the waterline, I went in with my Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in DLTA. I'm not sure if this specific shade is available anymore because they did change the formula. I mean, I thought about adding gems and things like that, maybe doing some liner, but actually I quite like the simplistic grunginess of this look, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'll add the little funky mascara on the lower lash line, but I really like how dramatic and bold and deep the eyes are, and that purple on the lid, like the way it just catches in the different lights. I don't think you're going to be getting that quite as much on camera, but I can see how delicious it is in person. I am really impressed with the shades that I've used so far, and obviously I've still got quite a few more shades to use again. How many shades did I actually use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've used 5 shades, so for the next look I might dive into maybe some of the browns, maybe the greens. So far I just think it is absolutely beautiful. It is the grungy goodness that I wanted to kick off this spooky season with. And is this the first palette I've got for spooky season? I think it is, because technically the Gourmande Nightshade palette wasn't the Halloween release. So is this my first one? I think it is, and we've kicked it off with a banger. Like I say, I'm impressed with the matte formula. The shimmers so far, a little bit delicate when you're digging your brush in the pan, but they pick up beautifully. They apply with the finger beautifully. They're beautiful, sparkly and reflective on the eye, and I'm excited to use some more of them. Please let me know what you think to this look down below, and let's dive in to look number 2. For look number 2, I am thinking brown and green, because those are the matte tones that we haven't already used in this palette. So I'm thinking these greeny gold shimmers look beautiful. I might use these 3 brown mattes here. Maybe I'll use this one as well. It's just going to be this row and this row, I'm thinking, for the mattes. So we'll see which shades we use, but I think I'm going to start off with the shade Bandit Queen, which is this one here. Okay, so taking a Bandit Queen, and I want to focus this toward the outer corner because I feel like I'm going to do brown going into green. I think that is the plan, and do sort of a 2-tone look between those shades, because although I am loving neutrals now, I did want to, of course, incorporate those gorgeous greens. Then with the same shade, I'm just going to wiggle on the very edges of this, just to start on a little blend before I go in with that lightest brown shade. I feel like this is going to be a really nice autumnal kind of look. Okay, and then taking that lightest brown shade, which is called Undead Sheriff, and it's this one here. I just want to tickle that on the edges just to make sure it's blended out nicely. This palette will pair beautifully with the NOMAD Cosmetics Haunted Europe palette if you did get that one before it was discontinued. I do believe it's coming back at some point, and when it does, I'm going to be picking it up. I'm really sad that I missed out on that one. I should have grabbed it when it went on sale before it was being discontinued, but I definitely want to pick that one up because if you know the colour story inside of that one, it's going to just match this one beautifully and be a perfect sister to it. But those browns have gone on super nicely and blended out like a dream. So then I want to go into the deepest brown on this row called Deadwood, and it's at the bottom here. And I am just deepening up with that shade just in the very outer corner, just to add a little bit more drama. And I do just want to run some of those browns along the lower lash line so it just connects on the outer corner and makes a little bit more sense out here. Then we're going to go in with some of those gorgeous greens. I think I'm going to start out with Ghost Town, and then I might deepen it up a little bit with Stagecoach Mary. So going in with Ghost Town first, which is the palest of the greens, Just want to focus that near the inner portion. Kind of reminds me of a cool pistachio-y kind of tone. I'm already loving the green and brown combination. And again, just bringing that green onto the lower lash line as well, meeting up with that brown. And then going into Stagecoach Mary, the deeper green, just to deepen up in the crease area toward the front, just a touch. Oh, that's pigmented. That is pigmented. Okay, let's play with some of the shimmers. I definitely want to be using this one here because it looks stunning. It's called Calico and it's kind of a greeny gold. It's a very dirty sort of metallic-y colour. I really like that, so I think I definitely want to use that one. Now I have just sprayed this, and when I move my hair out of the way, I want to apply this to the lid. Oh, beautiful. And I'm not doing a sharp cut crease or anything like that. I just want to keep it quite relaxed and sort of flick my brush around where it meets that green matte. Maybe we'll go into a bit of garnet just to connect the green into the brown matte, because that, I mean, it's already on my finger, so. Ah, that is working beautifully. Oh yes, that was a wise decision. That has just made the transition even more seamless. Maybe we'll put a little bit of this Gold Rush shade just on the inner part of the lower lash line, just so that we've used even more of these gorgeous shimmers. Then maybe we'll go into a little bit of Rhyolite, I want to say, which is this one here. And when I was swatching them, because I have swatched this palette now, I feel like that one was more of a nice sparkly sort of light toppery shade. And we'll just add a little bit of this to the inner corner. Okay, I think that's going to be more or less it for the eyeshadow. Let me jump off, finish up this look, do my lashes, all of that jazz, and then we'll come back. I have to say, I love this look so much. Considering it's so cool toned, especially with those browns, which isn't usually my favourite, the way that this has come together, I love it. Again, I did just pop on some half lashes. Again, the same ones. I'm not supporting the brand, so I won't be mentioning who those are from, but I did use my Odin's Eye liner for the waterline. This is in, I believe it's in Avocado. Like, it's not actually this colour on the lid. It's very misleading, and it takes quite a while to draw in the waterline, but I thought it would be the perfect colour to match this look. It's a nice sort of cool tone, pistachio-y rather than avocado-y. Well, maybe a bit avocado-y kind of green. Out of the two looks, this one is my favourite, because as much as I love blues and purples, green has my heart. And I don't know, there's just something about this. It's kind of a little bit moody, a little bit sort of smoky and mysterious, dramatic even in the outer corner. I really like it. So let's talk about the palette. Ghost Town USA. Always love the theming that NOMAD come up with, because not only do they do amazing packaging, but the fact that they're basing all of these palettes on destinations and themes like this isn't a specific one area destination, it's Ghost Towns USA, which sometimes they do and widen the net a little bit more, and I absolutely love that they do this. Like I say, when the Haunted Europe comes back in stock, I will definitely be grabbing it, because it is kind of similar to this but also not a dupe, so I think it will pair absolutely beautifully with this palette. $49 from a US indie brand for the quality of the packaging and the shades. I don't think that that is a bad price. And again, if you love cool tone shades, or you wanted something a little bit more grungy for this time of year, this palette is absolutely beautiful. Hopefully I've given you some inspiration for colour combos, that type of thing, even if you're not interested in picking up the palette, because I love to watch videos regardless of if I'm picking up the palette that I'm watching or not. But the quality of this is really nice. This new shimmer formula, I mean, I can still see this duochrome, it's absolutely gorgeous. This new shimmer formula is really, really nice. It's very sparkly, metallic and wet looking from the shimmers that I've used so far. I will say though, you have to be a little bit more careful in the pan when you go in with your brush. I mean, it's not the most fragile shade in the world, don't get me wrong. It's not super duper putty like the Beauty Bay formula, but just be a bit wary that you don't want to destroy the entire pan when you're going in with your brush. I do go in quite heavy, so maybe that was my issue. But once I had learned not to do that, I was fine. And of course, using your finger will make the shimmers even more intense on the lid. The mattes are more or less what I know the matte quality to be like from NOMAD, so that is a given. I'm not disappointed with that at all, and I like the colours match the theme. And I think you can't go wrong when it matches the theme. And there are so many different looks you can create with this, because although it looks predominantly grungy and cool toned, the fact that you can go from blue to green or just keep it fully neutral or just add that little pop, and I feel like any of the shimmers will go with a nice neutral look if you just wanted to add a little pop of something different with one of the shimmers. So all in all, I really like this palette. I'm probably going to do some more looks with it over on my Instagram, which will be linked down below if you want to check that out. And sometimes I do a little bit more intricate looks on Instagram when I've got a little bit more time to sit and play around rather than when I'm filming. Another smash from NOMAD for me. I really like this palette. Colour story wise, it's really good. Is it my favourite colour story? No, I think Monteverde or the Royal Europe palette might be my favourite colour story wise, but this is a beautiful palette. And if you don't like cool tones and you want something a little bit more neutrally with pops and you want it warm tones, then check out, what is the palette called? The Hudson Valley palette from NOMAD, which is, again, another delicious autumnal palette, but much more warm toned and bright in certain areas, but you do still have some cool tone neutrals down this side, some nice grungy greens and some browns. I mean, NOMAD is one of my favourite indie brands, so. Or if you wanted something more cool toned and colourful, they do have the NOMAD Whistler Snow Lodge, which again, another one of my favourites. This colour story is gorgeous. I just realised, just underneath the mirror, on the packaging, it says the word help. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it without me blinding you with the mirror, but it's the little touches. It's the little touches. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. Please do like the video if you enjoyed watching, and if you would like to see some more content from me, then please do consider subscribing. I will have all my socials linked down below, as well as my Patreon group where we have daily discussions about makeup and general life if you'd like to join that, or here on YouTube there is also my membership option. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!